See some low cloud and fog around during the morning, but elsewhere we'll see some sunshine from the word go. The dry and bright theme will continue as we move into the Midlands and the northwest of England. Any mist will quickly clear with temperatures around 10 Celsius to start the day. Hopping over the Pennines, and we will probably see the best of the sunshine across the northeast of England. It will be chilly though, although coastal areas will have lost the northeasterly breeze. Up into Scotland, and for many it will be dry with some spells of sunshine. However, it will be cloudier towards the Western Isles with some rain around first thing. Across to Northern Ireland, and after a fresh start, we will see plenty of sunshine across the country, but it may turn cloudier during the morning in the west. Moving towards lunchtime, and we'll see little change, with many places seeing plenty of sunny spells and feeling a little warmer. And that's how the weather's shaping up tomorrow morning.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debates, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr.
On radio, they call it the drive time slot, 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. as listeners head home. It's that part of the schedule when the dust of the day's events begin to clarify, and we try to make sense of it for you. Brazier is drive time for radio and TV. It's fast, it's punchy, it's opinionated, there's a Brazier angle and a little bit of levity.
That's the question. That's two questions, actually.
That's Brazier, Monday to Thursday, 4 till 6 on GB News.
Hello, I'm Patrick Christie's.
And I'm Mercy Moroki.
Make sure that you join us Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. until midday, right here on GB News for To The Point.
We're not afraid to talk about the topics that matter to you, or the big topics that always matter.
We cover absolutely everything, from the breaking political stories of the day to law and order, what's going on in the channel. We're not afraid to hold people to account.
We always make sure we include your views on our show.
Indeed, if you're thinking it, you can guarantee that we're saying it. So make sure you join the conversation with us, 10 a.m. until midday, Monday to Thursday, for To The Point on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
A very busy show tonight in The Big Question. Does Britain still love the BBC? We will debate that with Beeb legend Dame Esther Rantzen and former chairman of Southampton Football Club and ex-Brexit Party MEP Rupert Lowe. My Mark Meets guest is the Brookside and Shameless Channel 4 actress Tina Malone. What a character, what a lady. You won't want to miss her story at 10. And in my big opinion monologue, why do we feed our kids so badly? It's time to teach children about traditional cooking. Plus, I'll be dealing with Prince Harry and that balcony. We've also got my amazing panel tonight reacting to the big stories of the day. Agony aunt and presenter Hilary Freeman. Reality star and journalist Precious Muir. And Olympian and TV host, national treasure, no less, Chris Akabusi. What a panel. Plus, are Keir Starmer's days numbered? We're going to look at breaking news from tomorrow's Mail on Sunday, suggesting that the Beergate party in Durham looks to have been organised in advance. Is it game over for Keir Starmer? Expect full analysis and reaction on that story. If he's on his way out, who are the runners and riders for the next Labour leader? We'll find out very shortly. A cracking 2 hours to come. But first up, the headlines with Bethany Elsey.
Thanks, Mark. I am Bethany Elsey in the GB newsroom. Sinn Féin will be the largest party in Northern Ireland Assembly for the first time. The party has secured 27 seats, pushing the Democratic Unionist Party into second place. Earlier this year, the DUP collapsed the power-sharing executive in protest over the Northern Ireland Protocol. And Secretary of State for Northern Ireland Brandon Lewis has urged all political parties in the Assembly to form a government as soon as possible. Sinn Féin's Vice President Michelle O'Neill has said the results represent a new era of partnership.
Today represents a very significant moment of change. It's a defining moment for our politics and for our people. Today ushers in a new era, which I believe presents us all with an opportunity to reimagine relationships in this society on the basis of fairness, on the basis of equality, and on the basis of social justice.
Elsewhere, the Conservative Party has lost nearly 500 council seats across England, Scotland and Wales in the local elections. Labour, the Liberal Democrats and the Green Party have made significant gains. In Scotland, the SNP remains the largest party, and in Wales, Plaid Cymru gained 3 councils. Education Secretary Nadeem Zahawi has told GB News the elections were tough for the Tories, but no better for Labour.
We have to learn the lessons from this, not in any way take what we're doing in places like the West Midlands for granted, but also try and win back in London and the South. So it's a mixed picture, tough night for us, but I don't think it's any better for Labour in the sense that Keir Starmer has gone backwards in places like Nuneaton. They've stood still even in Hartlepool.
In other news, Ukraine's Deputy Prime Minister says all women, children and elderly people have been evacuated from the Azovstal steelworks in Mariupol. It follows Ukraine's military saying Russia had continued its assault on the plant with the help of tanks and artillery fire. Russian missile strikes have also hit the southern port city of Odessa. UK intelligence has said the war is taking a heavy toll on Russian units and that sanctions mean it'll take considerable time for Moscow to rebuild its forces. Back in the UK, the Home Office is reviewing its security after protesters heckled Priti Patel at a Conservative Party event in Nottinghamshire.
And I actually just want to start...
Priti Patel, your racist policies are killing people.
The security breach included 7 activists from the Green New Deal Rising group who were protesting against the government's plans to send migrants to Rwanda. The group had bought tickets to the annual Tory Spring dinner last night, posing as young Conservatives. And a consortium has agreed terms to buy Chelsea Football Club from Roman Abramovich in a £4.25 billion deal. It's led by Todd Boehly, co-owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers baseball team. Mr. Abramovich has been forced to sell after being sanctioned by the UK government over his links to Russian leader Vladimir Putin. On TV, online and DAB+ radio, this is GB News. Let's get back to Mark.
A very busy show tonight. Welcome to Mark Dolan tonight. In the big question, does Britain still love the BBC? We will debate that with Beeb legend Dame Esther Rantzen and former Southampton FC chairman and Brexit Party MEP Rupert Lowe. Is Sir Keir Starmer, the Labour leader, on the verge of standing down over Beergate? We've got breaking news for you. The Mail on Sunday, tomorrow's paper, claim that they've seen a secret Labour Party document which appears to blow apart Keir Starmer's version of events over Beergate. A confidential operational note written in the days before Sir Keir's notorious visit to Durham reveals that the beer and curry gathering had been planned in advance, according to the outlet. So what is the future for Keir Starmer? We'll get full reaction. And also, if he goes, who are the runners and riders for the Labour leadership? That is a political story that's moving fast, and we will move fast with it. My Mark Meets guest tonight is quite the character, and what a life. Bankruptcy, acting, fame and celebrity Big Brother. The Brookside dinner ladies and shameless Channel 4 star Tina Malone live in the studio. You won't want to miss her amazing story at 10. In the news agenda, with my panel with local authorities around the country granting outdoor licences for restaurants and cafes on a permanent basis, what are the other positives of the pandemic. Working from home, more appreciation of your family, a boost for local shops. It's been a dreadful 2 years, but let me know the ways in which the pandemic has been positive for you. Plus, why men dressing badly is the latest fashion trend. Speak for yourself. Tackling those issues and many more is my elegantly dressed panel tonight of broadcaster and agony aunt Hilary Freeman, reality star and broadcaster Precious Muir, and Olympian, TV presenter and national treasure Chris Akabusi. Now, I want to hear from you throughout the show. You know the best bit of my programme is when you get in touch. mark@gbnews.uk. The rules of this programme are very clear. We don't do boring, not on my watch. I just won't have it. A massive 2 hours ahead, big stories, big guests, big debate, big laughs, and plenty of big opinions. Let's start with this one. Do you remember that Jamie Oliver series about school dinners? The absolute rubbish served up to our kids by the dinner ladies. Turkey, Twizzlers, and all sorts of other fried rubbish. Well, it turns out the packed lunches that kids go off to school with are often just as bad. Schools have started teaching parents how to actually pack a lunchbox after research found just 1 in 60 of the meals, that's right, 1 in 60 packed lunches are actually healthy. A study by Leeds University monitored 76 schools over a decade and found children eating jam sandwiches as their main meal, sausage rolls and chocolate, and frequently missed out on fruit and vegetables. Childhood obesity is fermenting problems for these youngsters that will only get worse as they get older. Being a chubby child all too often means an obesity life sentence. Now, in terms of adults, you and me, I think it's up to us what we do with our diets. I believe that the way to tackle obesity among grown-ups is information, not instruction. Let me tell you what I did. I cut the carbs: sugar, bread, rice, potatoes, grains, pasta, fruit juice and beer. I lost 3 stone. Don't take my word for it. Cutting the carbohydrates has been the central plank of Dr. Michael Mosley's very successful books. Here's his latest, The Fast 800 Keto, highly recommended. How about Dr. Asim Malhotra's Piopi diet, which is based on a Mediterranean diet? Fantastic stuff. And last but not least, the remarkable NHS GP and Mail columnist Dr. David Unwin, who has reversed the diabetes of countless patients and slimmed them down, again, by cutting the carbs. Now, obviously, do your own research and always consult your GP. But I stress, what we need as adults is information, not instruction. We've had 2 years of being told what to do, and we suffered greatly, in my view, under the guise of public health. So we've had quite enough of being bossed around, thank you very much. But with kids, it's different. Parents, guardians and schools have a big influence over what our children eat. We have a duty of care to educate our children, nurture them, love them, challenge them, entertain them, clothe them, and yes, feed them. I'd like to see some of the millions spent by the NHS effectively facilitating lifestyle-related conditions and putting it into the prevention of childhood obesity. Perhaps make healthy food a bit cheaper. Teach kids properly how to cook real food at school. We used to call it home economics. It's now known as food tech. And rather than having KFC on speed dial, let's show youngsters how to boil an egg, how to fry a steak, how to grill chicken, how to boil broccoli. Kids probably don't know what broccoli is. There was no obesity in the 60s, 70s or 80s because sugar was a treat and people lived on a diet of real food and there was no snacking. 3 meals a day, and you remember the scolding you got from your mother if you spoiled your appetite by eating before dinner. And don't give me any of that guff about exercise and kids being more active. That is, of course, great for their mental and physical health. I encourage it, but you can't outrun a bad diet. It's what we're feeding kids that really matters. we mustn't let the junk food industry off the hook. In my view, children have suffered needlessly in the course of this pandemic, with school closures, with playgrounds literally being bolted shut, and youngsters not even being able to see their friends. And it appears that another dreadful legacy of lockdown is an expanding waistline. So it's time to put children first again, by making sure that every kid gets the best possible start in life by receiving a proper diet. The number of kids that go to school that haven't even had breakfast is a national tragedy. And I read of one primary school teacher who was reduced to tears when she looked at the contents of one particular lunchbox. Remember, this is a primary school kid. In the box was a can of Red Bull and a Kit Kat. Not only is that woefully inadequate and very unhealthy, well, it's bordering on child abuse. Let's have a national campaign to feed our kids properly. They are our future. Anyone who thinks it's acceptable for our children to continue getting fatter on a diet of joyless, processed foods will get a pizza my mind. They can burger off and get stuffed. Now, the Queen may be 96 years of age, but she doesn't pull her punches. And her no-nonsense treatment of Prince Harry demonstrates our great monarch is alive and kicking. It's been revealed that Prince Harry and his wife Meghan will be in the UK for the Queen's Jubilee celebrations, but will not be appearing on the royal balcony at Buckingham Palace for that iconic photograph. We know what an image it is. It can be best described as the world's greatest selfie. Now, the omission of the Duke and Duchess is great news for the couple because it will preserve the privacy which they crave. Let's give them more privacy, shall we? Funny how they announced they were flying over for the Jubilee celebrations just moments after they'd been thrown off the balcony, so to speak. Very rapidly, their spokeswoman said Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, are excited and honoured to attend the Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations this June with their children. I bet they are. Ultimately, the Jubilee is a national moment and a state occasion, but it's a family affair too. And it's right and proper that the Sussexes, along with all of the Queen's family, are there to acknowledge our incredible head of state and their mother and grandmother and great-grandmother. And notwithstanding her differences with the parents, it's great news that the Queen will be reunited with Harry's kids, Archie and baby Lilibet. Perhaps Harry and Meghan can finally ask permission to use the name of Lilibet, which was Prince Philip's pet name for the Queen. They didn't ask at the time, but hey, better late than never. So Harry and Meghan are placed on the bench, and it's right that Prince Andrew was shown the balcony red card too. This highly libidinous prince, so-called Randy Andy, will not appear on the balcony either. You could barely trust him to keep his hands to himself. This is a bloke whose morals are looser than Gordon Ramsay's tongue. I think this is shaping up to be a truly majestic Jubilee celebration, featuring hard-working and loyal royals like William and Kate, Charles and Camilla, and Princess Anne, a woman who I adore. In my fantasy royal family, Anne would be our next queen. Sensible, frugal, down-to-earth and funny. She's just like her mum. All of these wonderful figures will rightly take due prominence. Now, we're all human, of course, and nobody is perfect, but the royals that we will see on that balcony have made a huge contribution to public life. They've provided the Queen with steadfast support, particularly since the loss of Prince Philip, and they have done this country proud. But there's no place on the balcony for prize royal numpties who have done the opposite. In fact, for the likes of Harry, Meghan and Andrew, rather than inviting them onto the royal balcony just to satisfy their own egos, I wonder whether the Queen wouldn't be better off sending them all to the Tower. And she can throw the key away as well. Reacting to the big stories of the day, including the breaking news that the Mail on Sunday are reporting Keir Starmer's Beergate party looks to have been planned in advance. Is his leadership of the Labour Party now under threat? Imminent danger? We'll discuss that with my panel and an array of experts. With me for the next 2 hours, journalist, novelist and agony aunt Hilary Freeman. Olympian, TV presenter, motivational speaker, I should say, and of course national treasure Chris Akabusi, and reality star and broadcaster Precious Muir. Wonderful to have all three of you with me. First of all, Chris Akabusi, let's talk about Prince Harry and the balcony ban. The right thing to do?
Surprise, surprise, Mark, that you'd come to me on that one after the last time we had a little rock and roll.
Oh, yeah, sparks flew, baby.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, I think, you know, the Queen and her advisors have come up with a good statement. They only want working royals on the balcony, and we know that Harry and Meghan decided that that's not what they wanted. They wanted to go to America to pursue their own life. So, yeah, I'm all in agreement with that. And it appears that you said in your monologue that it's a family affair, and they're coming to the family affair. It's just that one little piece that they won't be seen on, and that's part and parcel of the contract that they engage with. So there's no controversy for me there. You know, I don't like the continual bashing that the Sussexes are getting. I think it's over the top and beyond the pale. If they want to sail away and be forgotten, then we don't need to be digging them up all the time.
Exactly.
Just leave it.
100%.
There we go. Just leave it.
Precious.
Yes, 100%. I mean, I've always been a supporter of Meghan because, obviously, being a person of colour, a woman of colour, it's extremely important to have some sort of representation in the royal family. As a British woman, as an English woman, I was born in London, I was raised in London, and to have her here, obviously, is just... It was an iconic moment. Now they want to step away because obviously these kind of things have overwhelmed them. They have that decision, they've made that decision for themselves and their family, and we should all respect that, and that's it. And if they're going to attend, that's fabulous. I'm very happy they're attending. So I feel like it should have been all-inclusive. Like, everybody should be able to go on the balcony, everybody should be able to hang out with the Queen. Like, that's the purpose of this entire event. But, I mean, at the end of the day, at least they're here. That's all that matters.
Of course. Now, Hilary Freeman, you are a journalist, novelist and a professional agony aunt, an expert in human emotion. Is it a dangerous precedent to set, cancelling family members in this way?
Well, I think it's one of the problems of having a family firm, isn't it? You know, of working with your relatives. That when you sack them or when you fall out, it causes problems both personally and professionally. And if you're in the royal family, it's particularly awkward because it's all done so publicly. I mean, I'm not a great fan of Meghan, and I'm afraid, and I don't think that they've conducted themselves very well at all. And I think that the Queen is well within her rights to say, you know what, I don't want any drama. I don't want to make this into.
I mean, I don't think there's going to be drama. There wouldn't be drama. I don't think they carry themselves in a way that's going to be argumentative or cause the Queen in any disrespect. They're very respectful. This is what I don't understand. A lot of people say that they're very disrespectful, but in her presence, they have the utmost respect for her. The only thing is, they just can't deal with the limelight. The limelight and the harassment and the constant badgering and the fact that she is obviously mixed race and all of these issues.
I'm sorry, but I don't think her race has got anything to do with...
Oh, it's 100% got something to do with it. I mean, it's the first ever interracial couple that is highlighted in the royal family on such a large scale. And so it was just all about that from the beginning. And at the end of the day, I'm happy that she's there and I'm glad that she's coming.
Precious, the bottom line is, I've got many friends in Fleet Street, including red top editors. When Meghan Markle arrived in the UK, they were absolutely delighted.
Yes,
because
100%.
they thought, here is the new Diana.
Yes.
She was welcomed by Fleet
fantastic,
Street with open arms. And, of course, let's not forget that wedding that was watched by 2 billion people and no expense was spared.
Yeah.
Britain loved Meghan Markle. And don't forget, Harry was, I think, the second most popular royal in the country, just behind the Queen herself.
Yes.
Yeah, so you mentioned, I'm really glad that you mentioned Princess Diana, because we've got very short memories. and Princess Diana was hounded by the press. I know she courted the press. I know she was very adept at making things for herself, but she was hounded, and I will never forget the images of those two young boys walking past the funeral cortege of their mum. And what grieves me is that young Harry, who's made a decision with his wife, is getting hammered like his mum. And we do not know what's going on in Harry's mind. And do we want to actually see him flip his top as well? You know, is that what we really, really want? You know, he's left, he's gone to America, he's making a life for himself.
Yeah.
Can't we just leave him alone and get on with it?
There's no reason why we need to be against him. He's made that decision. He will never be king. He's basically going to have his independence. He doesn't want to be in the royal family in regards to doing the activities, travelling and so forth, but he's still family.
But he's still
at the end of the day, he is still family.
Okay, Hillary.
If you can accept the other one that's causing the most chaos at the moment and still have him attend, then why can't you have Harry and Meghan? And I'm glad they're coming. And at the end of the day, it's the right thing to do.
Hillary, you reject that prejudice was a factor in the public's attitude towards Meghan Markle and the press.
Yeah, I really don't think that it is at all. I think that people celebrated. I remember the wedding. People were so, you know, thought it was brilliant, and everyone was very, very pro her. It was only when it became clear that actually she didn't really want to be part of the royal family, and lots of things that she said that didn't seem to add up. Like saying that
what
she
do you
didn't
mean
know
didn't add up?
She claimed she didn't know who Prince Harry was, and yet it turned out.
I mean, of course you're going to say that about somebody. It's like me dating another celebrity. You don't always go, oh, I went out to particularly date this celebrity. She's not going to come out and say, yes, I really wanted to date Harry because he's a prince.
She was obsessed with royalty and wanted
She wasn't
to be a
obsessed.
prince.
Everybody loves the royals. We all cherish the royals.
Anyway,
I love the royal family. I enjoy watching the weddings. I love everything about the Queen and her, you know, all the jewels that she has, the history. I enjoy it as an English woman. I enjoy it. So at the end of the day, she is basically a part of that, and she shouldn't have to...
But she didn't want to be a part of that.
She wanted to be a part of it.
Work, she said, I want to go back to America. She doesn't like this country. She's made that very clear.
She does like this country. She adores London.
Like living
adores
England.
Precious, do let Hillary finish her point. Hillary, we'll come back to you, Precious.
Yeah, she, you know, basically, as soon as she made it clear that she didn't really want to live the life of the royal family because she realised that it wasn't, that her idea of what it was going to be like wasn't what it was, that you can't just be like a normal celebrity if you're in the royal family, that you have a lot of duties to do, that you have to behave in a certain way. You know, I wouldn't want to be in the royal family, but I think, you know, she should have had probably some better coaching beforehand before she got married to realise what it was going to be like. And it was like, I want to go back to America, but she and Harry are still trading off the fact that they're royal and that he's a prince, and all the press that they're getting in America is a hell of a lot worse than the press here. It's totally not regulated. Have you seen the headlines on the front of the magazines in America? Nothing's being said about that. So they're being treated a lot worse in the States than they are here.
Precious, final thoughts on this?
I disagree with you completely. I mean, I'm so sorry, but I do. At the end of the day, they basically loved being a part of the family. They were accepted in the beginning, but it went downhill straight away as soon as they started to question the old ways. And this is the reason why they were disregarded and disowned pretty much from the family towards the end. And that shouldn't have never happened. And if Princess Diana was still here, that would never have happened. Not at all.
Well, look, here's a question for my viewers. Who's on your balcony? Because let me tell you that on my balcony is Chris Akabusi. On my balcony is Precious Muir. And on my balcony is Hillary Freeman. Which celebrities will get onto your balcony for the ultimate selfie? Mark at gbnews.uk. I'm going to nominate Elton John, Adele, J.K. Rowling, James Dyson, a great entrepreneur, so many others. But who's on your balcony? Which celebrities would you like to be surrounded by on an occasion like that? Folks, we do need to crack on with the big question. Can I get a quick one line from each of you about packed lunches and poor childhood nutrition? Let's ask particularly Chris Akabusi, because Chris, you're a top athlete. Tell me briefly what you think about school dinners and child nutrition.
Yeah, school dinners is a good thing, and I think every child deserves a school dinner. It should be subsidised. I will bring back milk at 11 o'clock. We used to have milk at 11 o'clock. And because what you said is some children leave home without an adequate breakfast. So milk at 11, school dinners, make sure that we feed our young people.
Yes, how about you, Hilary, briefly? What is your reaction to my big opinion on the state of childhood nutrition at the moment?
I totally agree. My daughter is 6 and she really wants to have packed lunch, and I won't let her because I think that it's very hard to give her something different every day, something balanced and nutritious without lots of snacks and things. But I see what her friends have, and some of them are having like chocolate for breakfast, biscuits for breakfast, crisps every day, loads and loads. She goes around there and she has what I would have had at a party when I was a kid, and they have every day, and it really does worry me.
Precious Muir, we are feeding our children junk.
Yeah.
They are our future. This is a big worry, isn't it?
That's true. Of course it's a big worry. I mean, it's important. I mean, it's the meal of the day. Your children go to school, they're looking forward to break time. So they need to provide healthy snacks, a healthy meal for the children to actually have the energy to finish school for the rest of the day. And that's it.
Lots to get through in the next hour and a half in the news agenda with my brilliant panel. Who's going to replace Keir Starmer if he leaves? We've got that bombshell news from tomorrow's Mail on Sunday that the Beergate party looks to have been organised in advance. Keir Starmer could be gone in days. We'll discuss that shortly. Also, the pandemic has been appalling, devastating economically, health-wise, the lot. But what are the pandemic positives? We'll get to that. Plus, bloke core, effortless style. Apparently men are dressing worse than ever, but it's the latest fashion. Next up, though, in the big question, does Britain still love the BBC? We'll discuss that with Beeb legend, Dame Esther Rantzen. See you shortly.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debate, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr.
On radio, they call it the drive time slot, 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. as listeners head home. It's that part of the schedule when the dust of the day's events begin to clarify, and we try to make sense of it for you. Brazier is drive time for radio and TV. It's fast, it's punchy, it's opinionated, there's a Brazier angle and a little bit of levity.
That's the question. That's 2 questions, actually.
That's Brazier, Monday to Thursday, 4 till 6 on GB
Hello, I'm Patrick Christie's.
And I'm Mercy Moroki.
Make sure that you join us Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. until midday, right here on GB News for To The Point.
We're not afraid to talk about the topics that matter to you, or the big topics that always matter.
We cover absolutely everything, from the breaking political stories of the day to law and order, what's going on in the channel. We're not afraid to hold people to account.
We always make sure we include your views on our show.
Indeed, if you're thinking it, you can guarantee that we're saying it. So make sure you join the conversation with us, 10 a.m. until midday, Monday to Thursday, for To The Point on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Prince Harry has been banned from the balcony, the royal balcony. Who's on your balcony? I've got a very kind email from Marlena, who says, "Dear Mark, you should be on the balcony. You are on mine, and that's why I am glued to my TV." Well, Marlena, thank you so much for your kind words. Bringing the race card in with regards to Meghan is a step too far. What about the interview in which the Sussexes trashed his family? Lies that have been said. Meghan knows exactly what she wants and does not want to be part of the family, but does keep the titles. Marlena, thank you so much. This show is all about opinions. What is yours? Mark at gbnews.uk. We've got such a busy 90 minutes to come in the news agenda later. Who's going to replace Keir Starmer if he goes? Breaking news from tomorrow's Mail on Sunday. The Beergate party looks to have been organised in advance. I'll give you more on that in 15 minutes' time. We'll have the runners and the riders for Keir Starmer's possible replacement. Also, another game show before the end of the programme. And live in the studio, soap superstar Tina Malone. Can't wait for that one. She's got quite the story. But it's time now for the big question, in which we tackle a major news story of the day from multiple points of view. Now, Nadine Dorries, the Culture Secretary, has said the government will be looking at ways that the media watchdog Ofcom can hold the BBC to account, as well as implementing new ways of funding the broadcaster. The Culture Secretary said the company's funding model was completely outdated and decisions on any changes would be made well ahead of the BBC charter renewal in 2027. It comes as the corporation is engaged in conversations on how to fund its services as the licence fee faces an uncertain future. But is it a debate around the funding model, or is it just the popularity of the BBC altogether? Should we still be funding the Beeb in any way, shape or form? Is the Beeb a great national treasure, educating and entertaining millions and admired around the world? Or is it an expensive, unaccountable and out of touch white elephant? Does Britain still love the BBC? To debate this, I'm delighted to welcome one of the most respected and successful broadcasters of her generation, BBC icon Dame Esther Rantzen. I'm also delighted to welcome entrepreneur and former chairman of Southampton Football Club, Rupert Lowe. Dame Esther, I'll start with you. Does Britain still love the BBC?
Well, it's an interesting word, isn't it, love? I don't know whether we've ever loved the BBC. And actually, when I worked for the BBC for 39 years, I'm not sure I love the BBC because it's an interesting animal. It's obviously created by Lord Reith, who is a sort of craggy Scot. I always think he had a granite heart, but he had a great sense of vision for what the BBC should be. And I think that is that it should be respected, that we should be able to rely upon it, and that we should turn to it when we need the best entertainment and when we need crucial information. And I think that is still what we do. I mean, if you have a look at what happened with the pandemic, when the government and the scientists and medical experts were having to give us daily updates on the way it was spreading, the number of deaths, what was happening in our care homes, what was happening in our hospitals, we turned automatically to the BBC at 5 or 6 o'clock every night to be updated with statistics that we could rely upon. And when we look at the voluntary sector, have a look at something like Children in Need and Comic Relief. The BBC uses its fantastic reach, its radio, which of course is equally valuable, and its television services to raise million upon millions of pounds for exactly the people you're talking about, Mark, the children, the vulnerable children who need it most, and for other charities around the country with Comic Relief. The Silverline Helpline, which I helped to launch, was really funded thanks to Comic Relief and Sport Relief. So at the beginning, alongside the big lottery, when I launched Childline, I did so on the BBC. October the 30th, 1986, I was on 19 different programmes right across the board. So I think the richness of what the BBC offer us, that it may not always be lovable, but you know, it was always known as Auntie BBC, and I think we respect and admire our aunts, even if they aren't always very lovable.
Well, I wonder, Dame Esther, whether the Beeb was loved 2 or 3 decades ago when you dominated the national television airwaves. Match of the Day, That's Life, your programme, which was enjoyed by upwards of 20 million people. Only Fools and Horses, Panorama, the 9 o'clock news, Wildlife at 1, you know, the list goes on. That was the BBC of old, and I think that the nation very much united around the Beeb, especially when there were just 3 channels. But in the current multi-channel era, surely the role of the Beeb has been diluted.
I think all the broadcasters now have far smaller audiences than I was fortunate enough to be able to communicate with. I mean, as you say, we had an audience of something like 22.5 million. I'm quite fond of that, half. And that's quite true. But then you have a look at something like Sir David Attenborough and the extraordinary legacy he has and the programmes he is still making about the blue planet, about the plants that exist, please God, will always exist if we treat them well on this fantastic planet. If you have a look at Strictly Come Dancing, which we all look forward to so much, they are still offering us programmes which the whole family can enjoy, can learn from. And, you know, I am aware, through the Silverline helpline, of the number of older people who are isolated and living on their own, who depend upon television and particularly what the BBC offers them during the day as their only company. So I think we need the World Service. We haven't described the impact of the World Service, particularly when the world is in such a terrible state. And we look at the team that the BBC has sent out to Ukraine, those extraordinarily brave reporters, Lise Doucette, Clive Byring and the others. So I think the Minister for Culture and Sport needs to be a little bit careful about putting a demolition ball through something that we would never be able to reconstruct and recreate if we did something that damaged it profoundly.
If I was Director General of the BBC, never say never, Esther, I'd have you on the box 7 nights a week. In fact, I'm amazed that GBNews hasn't already offered you a contract. But Rupert, let's talk about the Beeb. Does the country still love this organisation?
Well, I think the answer to the question is that there are people who do love the BBC. And recently, you've probably seen the 100th year anniversary where they've been running their various pieces to say how much we all love the BBC. So they've been singing their own tune. So at the end of the day, I think there are people who love them, but I'm afraid I'm in the camp with Nadine Dorries. I liked John Reith. I think he was a Calvinist Scot. He basically he founded the BBC on 3 principles, which was to inform, educate and entertain with complete impartiality. And I think now, firstly, they don't do that anymore. I think they foster envy, they foster division. They are half a cut above themselves. They outlive very often the politicians who they interview each week. And there is an arrogance about the organisation. Now, I at the end of the day, I watched it over the Brexit debate where they present the views of the British people. We ended up with that appalling deadlock where you had the English establishment, or British establishment, who didn't accept the will of the people. And that was very much, I think, an example of the BBC being off beam. Now, I have nothing against the BBC. What I am against is a forced subscription and licence fee, which you have to pay of £159. It's been fixed for 2 years. It's then indexed, I think, for the following 3 until 2027. But I think young people don't turn to the BBC for their news. I think it's unfair on them to have to pay for their TV licence. And I would like to see the BBC go to a subscription service. And if Esther's right and everybody does love the BBC and it is part of our national fabric, then people will be quite happy to voluntarily pay for the BBC. Where I intellectually disagree with the licence fee is I don't think in today's world it works for people to be forced to pay £159 when often they don't actually watch the BBC, because I personally think a lot of what they produce now is rubbish. At the end of the day, what we do need is a subscription service where people decide, do I want it or don't I want it? And if I want it, I'll pay. And then we really will get the litmus test as to whether the BBC is loved. But whether we'll ever get there, Mark, I don't know. I think it's, we've got a situation where the establishment needs the BBC in a way, because the BBC, although it's critical and it's difficult, in the end it knows which side its bread's buttered on. And so I'm absolutely with Nadine Dorries. If it was me, if I was in power, which I'm not, as you say, I spend my life trying to generate wealth and employ people and generally do my bit for the country. I would defund the BBC tomorrow. I would make it a subscription service, and I would allow people to choose whether they subscribe. I think to get a criminal record for not paying £159, particularly when they've resiled on the agreement they made with the government over the over 75s, is frankly not acceptable.
Rupert Lowe, just briefly, if you can, before I bring the panel in and get back to Esther, you said that you would defund the BBC tomorrow. Would that not be an act of cultural vandalism?
Not at all, no. I think, as I said, Mark, I think they foster division. They're innately anti-English. I listened to an interview the other day between Nick Robinson and George Eustace. Now, George Eustace, I'm a farmer. George Eustace is not my favourite person. But I couldn't believe Nick Robinson's arrogance when he was interviewing George Eustace. And it's an example of how they know they're going to be there well beyond that person who they're interviewing is going to be voted out of power. So there is a degree of arrogance which I think is just unacceptable now. So I'd be quite happy to see them stand on their own 2 feet, which I think they should be doing.
Dame Esther, your thoughts in relation to what Rupert Lowe has had to say there. He would defund the BBC tomorrow. If the BBC love or at least appreciate the Beeb as much as many think, then they'll pay £10, £15, £20 a month for it.
I think the idea of a subscription service is very difficult because you are depending on people in very, very tough times to be able to pay, as I do, for some of the streaming services. I am aware that £156 or £159 is a lot of money, and particularly for people on fixed incomes like pensioners. And I think the BBC is very aware of that. We do know that the deal that was struck with the government to give people of my age free television licenses was quite a crafty way of a politician shifting responsibility when they decided that they'd take it away again. I mean, it's a real problem for the BBC to offer free TV licenses, and it might be at the cost of BBC Two, which Mr. Lowe probably doesn't watch any more than he listens to the orchestras that the BBC subsidises, or the promenade concerts that the BBC subsidises, or programmes like Imagine, which is a remarkable way of covering the arts and has been, for generations, been introducing us to major artists, some of whom I'd never heard of, but I learn every week. It is this extraordinary range and depth of the BBC programmes which is unique around the world. I mean, it's funny that Mr. Lowe thinks that the BBC is anti-English. If you go anywhere in the world, not only do they depend on the BBC, but they find it a wonderful reflection of what the British way of life is. I mean, for a lot of people, certainly I think the Platinum Jubilee is going to show the BBC as at its best, as the BBC always does rise to these great national occasions. So I do agree that some of our interviewers are a bit aggressive, but it isn't always restricted to the BBC. I believe there's someone called Piers, his name will come to me, but there are some interviewers that share that aggressive style, and I don't enjoy it. But I do think that if we want to replace the licence fee with something else, we need to be very careful that we don't cost Britain one of its major assets that has done so much for our cultural life, for our political democracy, for our planet, when you have a look at the Natural History Unit, and so much more.
As far as I'm concerned, Esther Rantzen, yes. Terry Wogan, yes. The Office, yes. Only Fools and Horses, yes. Woke Doctor Who, no. Let's bring my panel in on this. Let's briefly speak to Chris Akabusi, who is not only an Olympian, but a former BBC presenter as well. Precious Muir, reality star, and Hilary Freeman. I've only got a few seconds, folks, but Chris Akabusi, does Britain still love the BBC?
I can't speak on behalf of Britain, but I do. It's an institution. It's admired worldwide. What I would say, though, it's impartial. It's not impartial, sorry. And that's my only sadness. I'm sad not because of the impartiality, but because I can't trust them anymore to be balanced and get the view across to me. The pandemic was a great case in point. I'd love more robust questioning and challenging. They didn't do it.
Interesting. You'd like to have seen a more robust journalistic approach to lockdowns and other COVID measures.
Great. Absolutely, 100%. I did trust the BBC. I did go to them for information, but it was just following the party line. Everybody was exactly the same, whether you watched that station or anybody else. Nobody was asking the critical questions, which was sad for me because I did trust the BBC. I worked for the BBC for many, many years. I trusted them to be my voice, World Service, everything that Esther said. You can't defund the BBC. It is a public service broadcaster. There are people who rely on the BBC, but as I said, it went down in my explanations by what I observed through the pandemic.
Precious Muir, you're a young person. You've probably never heard of the BBC, have you?
I mean, to be honest, I actually go to the BBC on Instagram to get some news. So, I mean, we do actually view it in my generation. But I feel like they need to go a little bit more modern. And there's nothing wrong with commercial ads. Why can't they customise it in regards to the guidelines of how they want the BBC to be viewed? Adding advertising will completely cut the TV license, and then we can actually all enjoy it and not have to have that stigma of, oh my God, I'm paying for this.
OK. Hilary Freeman, briefly, if you can.
I personally think that if we defund the BBC, we will really live to regret it. I think it's far from not being English. It could be more English. It couldn't be more English. It is. You go abroad, people have heard of the NHS and they've heard of the BBC.
That's correct.
It is. It is something we should really be proud of. And it's also, for education, for children's stuff. There is so much that it provides that far beyond the TV shows. OK, well, Dame Esther, what a treat to have you on the show. Do join us again soon. BBC and broadcasting legend Dame Esther Rantzen. I'm delighted to say Rupert Lowe is sticking around because we've got breaking news. Keir Starmer under renewed pressure. An exclusive investigation from the Mail on Sunday suggests that the infamous Beergate party was pre-planned. Find out more. Is he on his way out? Is he hours from the sack? Find out after this.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debate, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr.
On radio, they call it the drive time slot, 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. as listeners head home. It's that part of the schedule when the dust of the day's events begin to clarify, and we try to make sense of it for you. Brazier is drive time for radio and TV. It's fast, it's punchy, it's opinionated, there's a Brazier angle and a little bit of levity.
That's the question. That's two questions, actually.
That's Brazier, Monday to Thursday, 4 till 6 on GB
Hello, I'm Patrick Christie's.
And I'm Mercy Moroki.
Make sure that you join us Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. until midday, right here on GB News for To The Point.
We're not afraid to talk about the topics that matter to you or the big topics that always matter.
We cover absolutely everything, from the breaking political stories of the day to law and order, what's going on in the channel. We're not afraid to hold people to account.
We always make sure we include your views on our show.
Indeed, if you're thinking it, you can guarantee that we're saying it. So make sure you join the conversation with us. 10 a.m. until midday, Monday to Thursday, but to the point on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
I'm going to get to your emails very shortly, but we've got breaking news. Keir Starmer has been plunged into a full-scale leadership crisis after tomorrow's Mail on Sunday newspaper obtained a secret Labour Party document which appears to blow apart Keir Starmer's version of events over Beergate. A confidential operational note drawn up in the days before Sir Keir's notorious visit to Durham reveals that the beer and curry gathering had been planned in advance. Now, the bombshell document, which was passed to the newspaper by a whistleblower, also calls into serious doubt Sir Keir's claim that he returned to work afterwards. The Labour leader has reportedly said he will stand down if he is fined over Beergate. Bookies have been quick to update the betting odds as to who the next Labour leader could be. So is he on his way out? We know that he grilled the Prime Minister over Partygate, but he's got a scandal of his own. We'll bring my panel in, but let's first speak to former Brexit Party MEP, former chairman of Southampton FC and top entrepreneur Rupert Lowe. Rupert, this is very, very bad news for Keir Starmer, who looks to have been hoisted on his own petard and is now drinking his own medicine.
Well, I think, Mark, you're quite right. It's a sort of case of people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Absolutely.
I mean, for me, I've watched this charade, with regard to Angela Rayner and Boris and, all of these puerile discussions, that this Westminster sort of bubble that we've got gets itself into the most extraordinary situations. And I think Keir Starmer clearly has got himself into one now. And if he's, again, misinformed Parliament / the media, then he's going to have to pay the price for that. But isn't it sad that while we're all talking about these irrelevancies, then we're failing with our energy policy, we're failing with our long-term planning for the economy, we're failing to actually address a lot of the issues that need addressing. For instance, energy costs and the way in which energy is being distributed to our various businesses and families. These are far more serious issues, but we've now got Sir Keir Starmer, who clearly, is like a lot of people in the House of Commons. Most of them are deficient because they result from the selection policies of Tony Blair and David Cameron. And a lot of them, I don't think, are fit for purpose. There are some notable exceptions, but it's, to me, just simply puerile, a lot of this stuff. But again, that's the world and the country that we live in, which is, in a way, very sad, Mark.
Well, I tend to agree with you. Precious Muir, I couldn't care less about Beergate, except that Keir Starmer gave the Prime Minister such hell over Partygate. If Starmer broke the rules, he's got to go.
I mean, I feel like at the end of the day, like the rules and regulations that were in place has caused, obviously, society to have this reaction because they can tell us what to do and do whatever they want to do. And this is why we're angry. I feel like that, there's a lot of companies, a lot of establishments, a lot of restaurants, a lot of pubs, a lot of bars, a lot of clubs that went downhill because of the whole situation. Meanwhile, they're out there partying and having these wonderful beer parties in the gardens, and we're here, following the rules. And that's not fair. And that's not fair.
I couldn't agree with you more. Hilary Freeman, I guess, you would be largely supportive of the idea of Keir Starmer being our next Prime Minister, but he looks under pressure, doesn't he?
He does look under pressure, but we mustn't forget that he hasn't actually been fined yet. And the other point is that if he is fined, he will resign and do the decent thing, which is what Boris Johnson didn't do. So actually he'll be showing him up even more by doing that. And we mustn't forget that it's the government that made the rules that they didn't follow.
Chris Akabusi, do you think that Keir Starmer will be the leader of the Labour Party in a week's time? I'm not sure he will.
Well, I don't think that Keir Starmer is the leader of the Labour Party today. I mean, he makes no decisions. He sits on the fence. He says, well, I'm not them, do that harder. So he's not impressed me one iota anyway. And I would applaud everything that Mr Lowe said, that people in Glasgow shouldn't throw stones. And, he's gonna fall on his own sword that he wanted to stab somebody else with. It is puerile, it is nonsense.
Maybe he was upset he didn't get invited. That's probably what it was.
Yeah, there's far more important things to be talking about. And we're talking about Beergate and Piegate. It's a nonsense.
Completely agree with you. What's your view? Is there enough evidence now that Keir Starmer broke the rules? Should he go already, given the hell he put the Prime Minister through? Mark at gbnews.uk. Rupert Lowe, thank you so much for your XL performance tonight on the show. Do come and see us in the studio soon. Lots more to come in the programme. My Mark Meets guest live in the studio is the soap superstar Tina Malone. What a story, from bankruptcy to fame. Plus more from my panel and more on Keir Starmer. Will he survive the week? See you shortly.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debates, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr.
On radio, they call it the drive time slot, 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. as listeners head home. It's that part of the schedule when the dust of the day's events begin to clarify, and we try to make sense of it for you. Brazier is drive time for radio and TV. It's fast, it's punchy, it's opinionated, there's a Brazier angle and a little bit of levity.
That's the question. That's two questions, actually.
That's Brazier, Monday to Thursday, 4 till 6 on GB News.
Hello, I'm Patrick Christie's.
And I'm Mercy Moroki.
Make sure that you join us Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. until midday, right here on GB News for To The Point.
We're not afraid to talk about the topics that matter to you, or the big topics that always matter.
We cover absolutely everything, from the breaking political stories of the day to law and order, what's going on in the channel. We're not afraid to hold people to account.
We always make sure we include your views on our show.
Indeed, if you're thinking it, you can guarantee that we're saying it. So make sure you join the conversation with us, 10 a.m. until midday, Monday to Thursday, for To The Point on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
A very busy hour to come. Welcome to Mark Dolan tonight, if you've just joined us. We've got the breaking news exclusively in tomorrow's Mail on Sunday newspaper. Clear evidence that the Beergate party, organised by the Labour Party, of course, attended by Sir Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner, was pre-planned. Therefore, Keir Starmer now under serious pressure. Beergate has blown up in his face. Should he go? We'll react to that story in the next 60 minutes. We've also got more from my panel across a range of topics, not just who might replace Keir Starmer if he goes. Also, we'll have a look at any of the pandemic positives. We've been through 2 years of hell, but is there a positive legacy for you? Let me know, Mark at gbnews.uk. We'll talk about men's style. Apparently it's gone down the toilet. Speak for yourself. And we've got another Great British Game Show, a game show based around a major news story of the day. In 2 minutes' time, live in the studio, soap legend Tina Malone. She's gone from bankruptcy to fame. Hear her amazing story in just a couple of minutes' time. Once again, that email address is mark@gbnews.uk. Lots to get through. First up, the headlines with Bethany.
Thanks, Mark. I'm Bethany Elsey in the GB newsroom. Sinn Féin will be the largest party in the Northern Ireland Assembly for the first time. The party has secured 27 seats, pushing the Democratic Unionist Party into second place. Earlier this year, the DUP collapsed the power-sharing executive in protest over the Northern Ireland Protocol. But Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, Brandon Lewis, has urged all political parties in the Assembly to form a government as soon as possible. Sinn Féin's Vice President, Michelle O'Neill, has said the results represent a new era of partnership.
Today represents a very significant moment of change. It's a defining moment for our politics and for our people. Today ushers in a new era, which I believe presents us all with an opportunity to reimagine relationships in this society on the basis of fairness, on the basis of equality, and on the basis of social justice.
Elsewhere, the Conservative Party has lost nearly 500 councillors across England, Scotland and Wales in the local elections. Labour, the Liberal Democrats and the Green Party have made significant gains. In Scotland, the SNP remains the largest party, and in Wales, Plaid Cymru gained 3 councils. Education Secretary Nadeem Zahawi has told GB News it's important his party learns lessons from what he described as a tough election.
It's a mixed picture. Tough night for us, but I don't think it's any better for Labour in the sense that Keir Starmer has gone backwards in places like Nuneaton. They've stood still even in Hartlepool.
Ukraine's Deputy Prime Minister has said all women, children and elderly people have been evacuated from the Azovstal steelworks in Mariupol. It follows Ukraine's military saying Russia had continued its assault on the plant with the help of tanks and artillery fire. Russian missile strikes have also hit the southern port city of Odessa. UK intelligence has said the war is taking a heavy toll on Russian units and that sanctions mean it'll take considerable time for Moscow to rebuild its forces. The Home Office is reviewing its security after protesters heckled Priti Patel at the Conservative Party event in Nottinghamshire.
And I actually just want to start.
Priti Patel, your racist policies are killing people.
The security breach included 7 activists from the Green New Deal Rising group who were protesting against the government's plans to send migrants to Rwanda. The group had bought tickets to the annual Tory Spring Dinner last night, posing as young Conservatives. And police are appealing for information after 6-year-old twins have been reported missing in southwest London this evening. Emmanuel and Emanuela were last seen playing in their front garden of an address at Lambeth at 6 o'clock before a relative discovered they weren't there an hour later. Their family are assisting the Met Police with their search, and anyone who sees them is being urged to call 999. On TV, online and DAB+ radio, this is GB News. Now let's get back to Mark.
Welcome to Mark Dolan tonight, a very busy final hour of the show. In just 2 minutes' time, live in the studio, my Mark Meets guest is the amazing soap actress and reality star Tina Malone. Hear her incredible story. You won't want to miss it. Also in the news agenda with my amazing panel, Olympian Chris Akabusi, journalist Hilary Freeman and reality star Precious Muir. Why has men's style gone down the toilet? Also, your pandemic positives. We've been through 2 years of hell, but are there any positive aspects to the pandemic that you'll be hanging on to? Perhaps not having to go into the office for boring meetings, or perhaps you're closer to your friends and family. We'll discuss that shortly, but send in your pandemic positives, Mark, at gbnews.uk. Mine is that Mrs. Dolan now cuts my hair. Any good? I'll let you be the judge of that. Please be polite in your replies. Lots to get through. I also want to continue our reflection on this story, an exclusive in tomorrow's Mail on Sunday newspaper. They claim that they have evidence that the Beergate party or Beergate event in Durham, attended by, of course, Keir Starmer and Angela Rayner, was pre-planned. It looks to be devastating if true. This is the big story in tomorrow's Mail on Sunday. I'll get reaction from my panel shortly, and we'll have a look at the political situation for Keir Starmer. You've reacted on email, mark@gbnews.uk. Gerald says, Mark, Starmer must go if found guilty. What a silly boy. Also on this, Paddy says, hi Mark, great show as ever. Curry and lager were bad enough, but it's the afters of porky pies that will do for Starmer. On Beergate, Steve says, Mark, I agree that he who lives in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. If true, Starmer has over-egged his omelette. He has backed himself into a corner by hounding for Boris's resignation. I got fed up with people saying that he didn't make the laws. He may not have done in principle, but he fully supported them. Steve, thank you so much for that. Mark says, all I can say, Mark, is that at least Boris put his hands up and apologised for Partygate. Yes, he should go, says Vicky. He's hypocritical. He's a fence-sitting snake. And the last one on Beergate for now, Paul says the policing commissioner for Durham is Labour, so it's no wonder Starmer is so cocksure he will get away with it. I'll get to more of your thoughts on that shortly. We'll bring you, of course, more as and when we get it. But certainly based upon the Mail on Sunday's front page splash tomorrow, Starmer under more pressure. First up, though, it's time for Mark Meets, in which I speak to the biggest names in the world of politics, sport, showbiz and beyond. Tonight, the highly talented actress Tina Malone, star of Channel 4's Shameless, playing the role of Mimi Maguire, of course, and she played Mo McGee in Channel 4's long-running soap Brookside. And she was in Dinner Ladies. She's done everything. As well as treading the boards, Tina has become quite the reality star, appearing in Celebrity Big Brother, among others. She's still a regular in TV dramas, most recently Clink and Tin Star, and she's given back to the profession she loves by setting up her own acting school. I'm delighted to say that Tina Malone joins me now. Hi, Tina.
Hi, Mark. Lovely to be here.
Great to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Did you always want to act?
Oh, gosh, I've never been asked that before. No, I did as a child. But it was it wasn't the thing you said. I remember saying to a careers officer, I'd really like to consider going to RADA when I was about 14, and he just looked at me and went, OK, let's stick to catering.
Right.
So it was
So you were down to be a dinner lady, not in Dinner Ladies?
Absolutely, yeah. So it just wasn't the done thing.
And what kind of childhood did you have?
I had a wonderful childhood. Contrary to... I suppose it's a testimony to my ability as an actor that most people think I grew up on a council estate. But I went to the same school, I'm ashamed to say, as Edwina Curry. I went to Blackburn House and I was a head girl. My
But you were obviously a bit younger than Edwina, right?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Yeah, 20 years. My parents were wonderful parents.
So were you the head girl of that school?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, when I was 16, yeah.
So you were quite...
very academic.
Were you like a goody two-shoes and a bit of a swot?
Yeah, I was. Very quiet. You know what? It's one of those things, isn't it? As an actor, everyone thinks you're the life and soul. Believe me, Mark, I am a loud, brassy, gobby scouse bird. I'm heavily opinionated. And I'll talk all day long and wax lyrical on gastric bands and weight and IVF and things. But my personal life, my private life, not so much. But I had a wonderful childhood. I was very blessed to have wonderful parents, wonderful brother. And, I had my first daughter. I was pregnant at 17, pregnant at 50. I've been 20 stone and 8 stone. I don't do anything by halves.
Any regrets?
In life?
Yeah.
I haven't worked with Scorsese yet, or Tarantino, or Good on Call the Midwife, or Corrie. But no, I've been... You know what? I've been very blessed. I've had a difficult 4 or 5 years, as is well documented. Yeah. And it's been difficult ending up last year being in hospital with a clot, pneumonia, clot on the lung, pneumonia, COVID. weeks in and out of hospital, ambulances, the usual kidney failure, dehydration. It's been difficult. And my husband was diagnosed with PTSD last year after 11 years in the army. So it's been, excuse me, hay fever. It's been a horrendous few years. But look at the Ukraine and look at people on the streets in this country. I won't go into politics, although I know you're political.
Well, you can if you like. You're welcome to.
No.
But do you know, I'm glad to say that you're in such rude health now.
Yeah.
And I'm very pleased that the hay fever is the worst of your symptoms.
Yeah, I've still got my Raynaud's, I've still got my hay fever, I've still got my eczema. I'd like to lose a little bit more weight.
So tell me, how did you put on the weight? How did you get big?
Everything to excess. Eating, drinking, drink, drugs, sex, whatever I do to excess. So I can't moderate.
Yeah.
So I'm bipolar, I'm OCD, I'm OCP. But I mean, it's like now, I haven't worked for 19 months. Now I'm playing a goddess in a Roman activity centre in Liverpool, right? Seriously. I'm also doing a film with blind children, 30 blind children, St Vincent's in Liverpool, playing a nun, a Mother Superior, Catholic
against
nun.
type.
Yeah, and I'm
That's
also
a stretch,
doing,
isn't it?
Yeah, I'm also doing a horror film with the likes of Ian Lansall and Chrissy Rock and people set in Liverpool, playing kind of a bitter old twisted woman, a bit like myself, and so you know things are on the up. You know, I'm working with a friend of mine, Helen, who's an incredible writer. I want to give you her script today. She's written a 6-parter for me called Getting Laid. And not so much a BBC comedy, more a Channel 4.
Did you say getting laid or getting late?
Getting laid.
OK, well, yeah, well, that's...
It's about middle-aged women, hormonal women.
I'd watch that.
And it's very funny. Less BBC, more Channel 4.
I mean, you've
Channel
done
5.
so much with Channel 4 in the past, of course.
Yeah.
Brookside, Shameless. Do you feel underused on TV?
It's funny, yeah, I do. I mean, you know, I can be reflective. I'm very honest. I kind of go, I'm not as pretty as Holly and Sheridan or as young, and I'm not as funny as maybe Ant and Dec, you know, but I do feel underused. But there are also incredible actresses out there. You know, the likes of Elaine Cassidy, Nicola Walker at the moment.
Yeah, she's very good.
Incredible actresses. And I've always wanted... I've played a nurse with Victoria, and there's nothing much I haven't done. You know, from Harry Enfield, period dramas. I've worked with Ray Winston, Pete Postlethwaite, you know, many great actors.
You were in Dinner Ladies, for example, weren't you?
Yeah.
And did you actually... I mean, obviously, you would have acted alongside Victoria Wood.
And Celia and Julie.
And Celia.
Yeah.
And Victoria, of course, wrote that incredible sitcom as well. No longer with us, very sadly.
Yeah.
Tell me about working with Victoria Wood.
Give you an example. I spent a few hours with Victoria one evening talking about the script. And I said to Julie the next day, I kind of walked away and felt like I'd told her my life story. And yet I know nothing about her. Genius. But also very kind. You can't paraphrase. You don't mess with Vic the Bard.
No.
But, I mean...
So you stick to the script, basically?
Yes, but when I said things like, that doesn't work in my vernacular and in my rhythms, she was open to it. Genius. I mean, the likes of Brenda Black and Celia Imrie and Julie Walters, they're geniuses, aren't they? Yeah. I mean, you know, I do want to play Lady Macbeth opposite Cumberbatch. You know, I do want to do a comedy with Joe Pasquale. I do want to, you know, play a love interest of Idris Elba, but, you know, it's not going to happen, really, when I'm clocking on 60 next, 6 months.
Well, you look incredible for that.
Thank you.
You were in Brookside, which was a long-running soap for Channel 4.
Groundbreaking.
Yeah, groundbreaking. Phil Redmond created that show, of course.
Yeah.
The creator of Grange Hill. Did you enjoy working on a soap?
Yeah, I did. And you know what was funny? We were not only groundbreaking with the lesbian story, the body under the patio and all that stuff, and the people we created, Ricky Tomlinson, Amanda Burton, Sue Johnson, Anna Friel, to name but a few.
Yeah.
But we were the first drama-stroke soap that Phil Redmond and Colin McEwen, who created it, used a single camera and gave it that docu-feel, that drama feel. And so I'm fiercely proud of that. You know, in that, I played the fat, funny Scouse bird, and I was happy and blessed to do so. I did feel underused. I kind of watched Lisa Riley and Emmerdale afterwards and went, why didn't I go? But I think, you know, when I was coming into my own, I looked around and there were like kind of Caroline Quentin, Jo Brand, Dawn French, all these larger girls, you know, doing it and being it. Yeah. And I just thought, I'm okay. I'll be honest, I kind of do wonder is since I've lost a lot of weight, I have had less work.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I mean, you know, Paul Abbott, who created and George Faber, Shameless, Mimi was a godsend.
Yeah.
But I played Mo McGee in Brookie, Marnie Sweet at the National Theatre for Jonathan Harvey, and Mimi Maguire. So I'm kind of looking for the next M.
Yeah.
I want to be another Marie or something.
Are you happier now, thin, because there's nothing on you at this point in time? Has it made you happier, losing the weight?
Well, it made me happier because it gave me my daughter.
Yes. So you were able to conceive?
Yeah. I have this everywhere. I've had 9 major operations. I'm a realist. I've never been a good-looking bird. Never. That's all.
You're gorgeous.
No, look, I'm intelligent. I'm not good-looking, and I can handle that.
I think you're a very
I've got a beautiful
lady.
mother, beautiful daughters, but that's fine. But I wanted to be the best that I can be. Not for a man, not for a job. I wanted my health back because I was about to explode. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So did you say you were 20 stone?
I was nearly 20 stone. And I'm 5 foot and a bit.
Crazy. And now...
And now I'm 8 stone 4.
8 stone 4, that's incredible.
Yeah.
How did you do it?
Gastric band.
Right, so that was it?
Gastric band, yeah. And I've had... Obviously, I lost all the weight. I've had to be chopped from there. I didn't have bingo wings, Mark. I had a cape.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? They had to chop me from there. The skin, the boobs had to be done twice. The stomach, they couldn't give me a tummy tuck. He had to cut me from there. You can Google it all and see it. Tina Malone, pregnant at 50. And Tina Malone, My Perfect Body.
Tina Malone, pregnant at 50.
And right. Tina Malone, My Perfect Body. Both nominated for RTS Awards.
Pleased to hear that. So they had to remove an awful lot of excess
all my skin from there to there.
And what a seamless job. You look like you've been to Savile Row.
And you know what? I swear to God, my boobs, my belly, my chin, my neck, my whole face was taken off.
Right.
Because I looked like a turkey. Do you know what I mean? I had that. I'm getting a bit like that now, but that's just it.
Now you look like a young chick.
Never looked like a chick. But that's fine.
How long did it take to get all the excess skin
I had
off?
9 major operations in a 17-month period.
Very painful?
No painkillers. I'm a Scouser.
What did you go for? Just red wine?
No, I don't drink. 24 years sober.
Is that right?
10 years drug-free.
Oh, my goodness.
17 months cigarette-free.
So you got your body back and you've got your life back, you've got your health back. How did you overcome addiction?
I've had cognitive behavioural therapy.
And what is that?
AA.
What is that? What is cognitive behavioural therapy?
I have, mental health issues. I always have done, 28 years. And you didn't dare tell anyone years ago because you'd have been sectioned. I'm a middle-aged, self-obsessed, selfish, nasty, angry, moody, insecure, volatile, hormonal woman.
You should work at GBNews.
Exactly. But I'm honest about it. And the Scouse bit in me is a trooper, solid, like a dog with a bone. But I am a realist and I'm very honest. It's like now, I'm planning a show with 9 youngsters going from age 13 to 21, a 17-year-old transgender, a girl who was bullied racially and still is now in a city, has moved schools twice, a girl who dealt with the close suicide of a relative, a boy who had to move from London to Ellesmere Port is now in my drama school in Liverpool because of domestic violence that his mother was heavily involved in with their children. I'm taking 9 of these to perform 2 weeks off Broadway in September if I raise money. I've raised 17,500 already.
How can my viewers find out about the appeal?
Follow me on Facebook, Tina Malone.
Brilliant. Facebook, Tina Malone.
Yeah, it's Liverpool to New York.
Brilliant. Well, obviously, you're reaching out to these youngsters.
I love teaching.
Drama will be their saviour, hopefully.
Yeah, I love teaching. It's therapy, isn't it? Drama is therapy.
Was drama, without being too trite about it, was drama your saviour?
Yeah, because you get to be somebody else, don't you? You get to exercise all your demons.
And that was a good drug to be taking, acting.
Yeah, it's the only one, yeah. And the drug of loving my children and, you know, putting up with my husband while he puts up with
So, a daughter at 50. She's here in the studio. She's absolutely stunning, just like her mum.
Aw.
She's probably about 8 or 9 now.
She's 8 and very tall, so I'm praying to God she's not going to be an actress like Danielle, because I couldn't afford
It's a done deal. It's a done deal.
She's a supermodel.
Showbiz beckons. Congratulations on her. And this is a new chapter in your life.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the future. I've got to be positive. We all have, haven't we? It's been a horrendous couple of years. Yeah. And I was watching your programme the other week, you know, with and Andre on and...
Oh, yeah,
you know,
Andre Walker, our political commentator.
And, you know,
Peter Edwards?
Yes.
Oh, yes. They tend to disagree with each other.
Jump into the television, because I get quite political. And
which side? I mean, are you left, right, middle, all over the place?
They're all liars at the moment. Every one of them.
What do you think of Boris?
Are you joking? Oh, God, I can't bear him. Can't bear any of them. Can't bear him. Him, Rishi, Gove, Mog, Hog, whatever.
Yeah, Rees-Mogg.
Rob. I hope I never meet them. I'd probably be arrested.
And what about Starmer? Is he somebody that can? I mean, he's under a bit of pressure at the moment with being
I think he's just another Blair. I think, but you know, at the end of the day, somebody mentioned on that programme that I watched about selling us what we owned. And that's what Thatcher did. And we are still paying for that now. And when are people going to get it through their heads? Do you know what I mean? We live in a society now. We breed a society that is not about, you know, being a good artist, whether you're being Banksy or Picasso. It's about being a Kardashian and having great tits and great lips. And that's what we're breeding. Yeah. That's what social media's done. Don't even start me on the politics of
And,
that.
of course, unfortunately, acting has become very much a sort of celebrity game now, hasn't it?
Yeah, I hate
It's
the words.
all about the big name and profile rather than talent.
I had to join them. Yeah, you know what celebrity means? Talent. And I'd like to go to some of them. Does that talent mean that you vomit and piss and snog the donkey and your sister and everyone else? Because my talent as an actor or somebody else's is a baker or a hairdresser or a plumber. It's just a job. No more important than anybody else, but I have a voice. And I'm not one of those people. I don't care, Mark, who does or doesn't like me. I'm just not. Love me or hate me, I'm authentic, I'm real.
Well, you might have had 9 plastic surgery operations, but there's not one thing I would change about you.
Oh.
Congratulations on your career. The story continues.
Thank you. Do love your stuff, by the way.
Oh, that's really kind of you, and I cannot wait to see you back on the box. And
Thank you.
Congratulations on the acting school. You're very much giving back to your community.
Yeah, Liverpool to New York.
Liverpool to New York.
Get
So
these youngsters
Facebook,
to Broadway.
Tina Malone on Facebook, Liverpool to New York, and let's help out some wonderful, talented youngsters in the Northwest. My thanks to the amazing Tina Malone. We've got to have another conversation soon, that's very clear. And best wishes to her lovely daughter as well. Lots more to get through. We're going to react to that ongoing story, an exclusive in tomorrow's Mail on Sunday. Allegations that the Keir Starmer Beergate party was pre-planned. We'll get reaction to that. And also, Kinsey Schofield live from the United States on the showbiz trial of the century, Depp versus Heard. Plus, another game show, Chris Akabusi, Precious Muir, Hilary Freeman. What's not to like? See you shortly.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debate, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr.
On radio, they call it the drive time slot, 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. as listeners head home. It's that part of the schedule when the dust of the day's events begin to clarify, and we try to make sense of it for you. Brazier is drive time for radio and TV. It's fast, it's punchy, it's opinionated, there's a Brazier angle, and a little bit of levity.
That's the question. That's two questions, actually.
That's Brazier, Monday to Thursday, 4 till 6 on GB News.
Hello, I'm Patrick Christie's.
And I'm Mercy Moroki.
Make sure that you join us Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. until midday, right here on GB News for To The Point.
We're not afraid to talk about the topics that matter to you or the big topics that always matter.
We cover absolutely everything, from the breaking political stories of the day to law and order, what's going on in the channel. We're not afraid to hold people to account.
We always make sure we include your views on our show.
Indeed, if you're thinking it, you can guarantee that we're saying it. So make sure you join the conversation with us, 10 a.m. until midday, Monday to Thursday, for To The Point on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
Panel. Well, lots to get through. If you're just joining us, the Mail on Sunday are running a story in relation to Beergate. Keir Starmer potentially under pressure. Allegations that the Beergate party was pre-planned. We'll get more on that shortly. But it's time now for US News with the Queen of US showbiz, royal and political reporting, Kinsey Schofield. Hi, Kinsey.
Hi, Mark. What a great show. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to have you on the programme. And Kinsey, let's talk about the showbiz trial of the century. And it's Heard versus Depp. What's the latest?
Oh, my goodness, Mark. This trial is so crazy. Right now, we're on day 3 of Amber Heard's testimony, and there's actually going to be a week-long break. So we believe that this was a strategy by the Heard team so that the jury, during their week-long break, has to just sit and stew on some of her testimony versus, had they allowed Johnny's team to jump up and start cross-examining her before the break, then the jury would be thinking about maybe some of the inconsistencies that Johnny's team is, I guarantee you, going to bring up. But instead, they're just sitting there thinking about Amber's testimony. And, she's been criticized. I actually had to make a list. She's been criticized for her authenticity. People don't believe she's genuine. She's making some really, really damning accusations about Johnny Depp on the stand, but the TikTok detectives have chimed in and they have created a list of parts of her testimony that relate to different movie sound bites and movie, actual movie themes. And I had to make an entire list of these because it's crazy. The Talented Mr. Ripley, which actually her team came out and said she did not steal this line from The Talented Mr. Ripley about how Johnny Depp made her feel so special and then he became this different person. Gone Girl, I won't even tell you why people are comparing it to Gone Girl because it's so bad. Drinks a lot of tea. She kept saying this, drinks a lot of tea, and kept looking at the jury while she was saying it. Well, this is a Notting Hill line, and it's a really cute little Julia Roberts moment. Reservoir Dogs, I haven't figured out the reference there. White Chicks, I don't know if you remember that movie, but in one of the scenes, they hold a dog out the window. She tells a story that's similar to that. Mildred Pierce from 1945, she says something, I'd rather break my hand. All right, well, she said that Johnny Depp said something similar to her about that. So, of course, in this entertainment saga, the biggest entertainment trial of the century, there's all of these movie references that perhaps, I don't know whether she's guilty of this or not, but it's really the TikTok detectives are keeping the internet hot and burning our ears with all of these different discoveries they're making.
Does her performance look staged to you, Kinsey?
If I'm being honest with you, I went into this trial only knowing about the UK trial. So I went into this trial assuming Johnny Depp's guilt, solely based on that, because he was found guilty and he was found to be a wife beater in the UK, according to the judge. So that is what I went in with. However, after watching this case and after watching her testimony, it does feel like a woman scorned and a woman that is out for vengeance. And she was rejected by him. And so she was out to destroy him and his credibility. And truly, that's my personal opinion after watching some of this testimony.
I get the feeling that, notwithstanding the outcome of this trial, that Johnny Depp, either way, is going to be the winner.
I think you're right. I believe that people are already talking. Well, yes, he's got a new movie coming out. He has a new movie that he's planning on working on. So we are seeing a shift in that sense. But if I were in his shoes, I wouldn't have sued her for such a ridiculous amount of money. I would have sued her for $1,500 and said, we were married for 15 months. I'm suing her for $1,500. I'm just doing this to make a point. With it being such a ludicrous amount of money, 50 million, she's coming after him for 100 million. They're going to appeal. Is this ever going to end? Cut your losses, release yourself from each other.
Yeah. Well, of course, we will respect the due process of the US courts, and the case continues. Can you tell me, Kinsey, what is the Met Gala and why does it matter?
That's so funny. I had to research this because I felt like you were going to ask me what the purpose of this thing was, and I had no idea. It's a fundraiser to benefit the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I just thought it was a costume party because it is ridiculous, and it's gotten crazier and crazier every year. I don't know if you remember Katy Perry showing up dressed like a hamburger and a chandelier. But yeah, it is it's the guest list to get on. It is almost impossible to get invited. They rejected the Kardashians for years, and this was the first year that all of them were invited. But it's fashion's biggest night.
Yeah, it seems to be. Some controversy about the likes of Hillary Clinton, who was, I thought she looked fantastic in a red gown. But there was somebody adjusting the train of her dress wearing a mask, and people were tweeting angrily about this. You'll see the chap next to her, her assistant, and he's wearing a mask, and lots of people in the background wearing face coverings. It seems like one rule for the rich and famous, another for the rest of us.
I agree with you, and it's actually why I don't like to do carpets in Los Angeles, because we have to wear masks on the media side, and the celebrities walk around and talk to each other. And now if we're on camera, they will allow us to take our masks off while we talk to the celebrity. But we have to immediately put that back on. But that's crazy to me, because that's when we would be exchanging the germs, right? When we're having that one-to-one it makes no sense. But I completely agree with you. But I'd also argue these people have put themselves in the situation. If you don't want to wear a mask, then don't show up to assist Hillary Clinton. Don't show up to take the pictures. If we say no and we stop complying, they will have to change the rules. But because we keep going, oh, well, I want to go to the Met Gala, so I'll wear the mask. Because we comply, we are continuously told that we have to do certain things that the celebrities don't or the politicians don't.
I completely agree with you. I felt that during the course of the pandemic. We comply to make the restrictions end, but our compliance means they never will. Let's take a look at Kim Kardashian, who wore Marilyn Monroe's famous dress. I think we've got some images of it. I thought she looked great, but she did have to squeeze into it, didn't she?
She did. She lost 16 pounds in the course of 3 weeks with the work, with help from her personal trainer. She wore a sweatsuit, which, by the way, I purchased. I've worn it 3 times since it arrived. But she wore a sauna suit 2 times a day and ate a really, no carbs, no sugar, I believe it was high protein diet. And what's so interesting is she wore just the dress, which was like a $4 million dress, on the carpet, posed for photos. But then she had an identical dress made so that she could comfortably walk around inside at the party, sweat, dance, and eat, drink, enjoy the night. But, there were like armed guards there to take the dress back when she was done wearing it. So, there are plenty of historians, Marilyn Monroe enthusiasts and experts that are really unhappy about this decision. But she did everything in her power to make sure that nothing happened to the dress that night.
Well, I'm pleased. I think she looked fantastic. Good on her for losing the weight and reviving the memory of Marilyn Monroe, the greatest movie star of all time, in my view. How about Billie Eilish? She looked pretty exciting.
Yeah, Billie Eilish did look great. You know, she hesitates to dress girly and to get feminine. So to see her in this corset dress was an absolute thrill. And you know, she's typically dressed in baggy clothes. So this was a major moment for Billie Eilish, and this was a major moment for the Met Gala in general. Probably one of the best dressed of the evening, and appropriate to the gilded glamour theme, which not everybody abided by.
Too right. We also have Dove Cameron. Take a look at this.
Raining? Yeah, I really am I don't know what to say about that, Mark. It makes me want to floss, if I'm being honest with you. It's the second I get off here with you, I'm going to go floss my teeth. I'm not even sure what we're going for here, but I would say that this is not necessarily one of the best looks.
I've got to actually offer some full disclosure. I own that dress myself, and it's a nightmare getting on the bus.
I would be afraid that the doors would catch you and they'd drag you half a mile.
Yeah, it's probably going that way. I think also, I think we've got one or two more, and then I want to go through some classic dresses of the past. But let's have a look at Fredrik Robertson, Swedish street style icon. More flossing.
Yes.
And how about pop star Lizzo and her flute? Actually, I think she looks fab.
Lizzo. I think that's the most clothing I've seen on Lizzo in 3 years. So what a thrill.
I didn't recognise her with her clothes on. I love it. There are some classic characters from the past. Lupita Nyong'o at the 2019 Met Gala. This is unmistakable. I think she looks fab, actually. I love those colours.
That is beautiful.
You mentioned Katy Perry in 2019.
There's
lighting up the room. I'd like to hang her from the ceiling. And Jared Leto.
Oh, wow.
Second Coming.
Yes. I have read that they, this year specifically, wanted it to be less costumey, less kitschy. They wanted it to really be what it used to be when Princess Diana attended. They wanted it to be true glamour and not silly. So yeah. I do think Blake Lively looked absolutely gorgeous, and Donatella Versace, and that was made just for her. She was supposed to look like the Statue of Liberty and changed like right there on the red carpet in front of everybody else, transformed her dress. She did a great job of leading the pack in making it this glamorous, exciting luxury experience again versus some of the silliness. Yeah, too right. Well, that last particular outfit from Jared Leto featured two Jared Letos, and I'd like to have two Kinsey Schofields, but there's no such luck. I'm delighted to say Kinsey returns in a week's time for more US news. If you're interested in royal exclusives, go to her amazing website, To Die For Daily. Thanks, Kinsey, and we'll see you next Saturday. Now, some rare pandemic good news. And Britain is to go permanently continental, with outdoor dining to be made law in the Queen's speech. Boris Johnson will next week announce new legislation allowing councils to grant pavement licences for drinking and dining after success during the COVID-19 pandemic. So that got us to thinking, what have been the other positives in the course of this pandemic? We've had 2 dreadful years, of course, but what are the plus points that will stay with us in the years to come? Not having to turn up to boring meetings and doing them on Zoom instead? A greater appreciation of our family, maybe? Are we less materialistic? And of course, solidarity within the country was at its highest since wartime. Although the pandemic kept some of us 2 metres apart, it was also a time that brought many together. But will that continue? What are your positive pandemic memories? How about you folks? Hilary, can we take any positives from the last 2 years?
Well, not very many, unfortunately. I do think there's been a few good things, like now that there is a greater appreciation of people working from home, and that working from home doesn't mean that you're lazy, that actually you can get your job done from home. But on a more serious note, I think one of the things that's come out of it is that at-home abortions are now legal, and that wasn't the case before the pandemic. That had to be brought in so that women could take pills because there was no way they could go into hospital during the lockdowns, and that's now gone into the law, which means that women can, if they have a very early abortion, are able to do that in the comfort and you know, of their own homes, rather than having to go to a clinic and then go home on the tube when they're bleeding.
Is there a particular sort of term limit in relation to the chemical abortion?
I don't know off the top of my head, but it's fairly early.
Fairly early, right? Yeah, I see that, and that's been an underreported aspect of the pandemic.
Yeah, it has. Yes, they voted on it a few months ago, I think, and there was quite a lot of discussion about whether it was going to be allowed to carry on, and I think it has done, which is a good sort of progress, I think.
Precious Muir.
Yes.
I know you to be a very positive person. So
yes.
what are your pandemic positives?
Well, I'm just glad to be able to socialise again. I mean, I really appreciate seeing my friends and family, being able to attend beautiful, magnificent events, and, you know, just appreciate the fact that we're outside. Because, I mean, obviously we've been stuck inside for so long, you know, in your confined space. So just being able to see everyone's beautiful face again, not in front of necessarily a Zoom camera, I mean, that's what I appreciate.
So what you appreciate is not necessarily a sort of a legacy of things that have changed, but just the appreciation of what we've always had.
Yes, exactly. The appreciation that we've been able to get it back.
Any changes in your life that you're going to keep in place?
Well, I think, obviously, I'm going to just continue on just, you know, doing the best that I can to be a better person, and taking away from the experiences that I've done, obviously going through, you know, different television shows and reality TV, you know...
Yeah, you've become pretty famous during the pandemic.
I mean,
You've
yeah.
had a good pandemic. You're like Chris Whitty.
Yeah, I mean, the result of the show has been really positive. So as much as we had to go through such a strenuous, confined, you know, sort of situation before we filmed, we actually came out in the end in a positive way.
Yeah,
I mean, it was tough. Filming during a pandemic, during restrictions, is the hardest thing possibly I've ever done.
It is really obviously
hard.
very, very challenging.
And, you know, like masks, you know, everybody has to wear masks, and the cameraman, and then, you know, it's hard.
Yeah, too right. Ask Tom Cruise about filming during the pandemic.
Yes.
He often gets his stick out, waves it at people.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris, you are a motivational speaker as well as an Olympian and a TV host. So it's hard to find the positives after the last 2 years, and we've lost too many people, of course. Enormous suffering, some of which I consider to be, you know, self-inflicted through so-called health policy, but, you know, that's another conversation. Is it possible to be positive about the last 2 years?
I mean, I think the positivity that I'll take out of it will be the closer community networks, because through the pandemic, first virtually, we had to connect with each other. And so the villages where I live, for example, all had wonderful hotlines where they were taking care of people who were, you know, needed food dropping off, etc., etc. And then my own little hamlet, when we came to clap for the NHS on a Thursday night, or everyone came out of the house, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I've never talked to you. Well, I've only just waved at you. So all of a sudden, I know names.
Nice.
I know.
Very true.
People found out they lived next door to Chris Akabusi.
No. They always heard that because they could hear the laugh.
You live in a hamlet, so you must be the king of that place.
No, not at all.
You must be like Henry VIII around there.
Not at all.
Do they throw petals?
Not at all. Don't even go there, big guy. Don't even go there. No. It's a lovely little hamlet, lovely little community. But you know them now.
Yeah.
You actually know them.
Yeah. You know people by name.
You know by name. You know exactly right. You know, we sat in the courtyard and we'd have a little chat and, you know.
Yeah.
Also, do you think we've gone a bit more local as well? Independent shops seem to have done quite well out of the pandemic.
Yeah, we're supporting our local businesses because obviously we're at home.
Yeah.
So we're only going local. Yeah, you go shop and come back. And
Mrs. Dolan is cutting my hair. What's your honest verdict?
Yeah, well, Mrs. Dolan.
Don't look too close. I mean, she cuts my hair in the dark.
No, she's done a fantastic job.
I think it looks fabulous, babe. You rock it. I mean, I can always send you hair extensions if it goes wrong.
I could do with some of those. I'm getting to that age, Precious.
I'll sort you out, don't worry. We're going to have to do a wig for you, though. I don't think there's anything to clip it to at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to tell you, a friend of mine had a really boring Zoom meeting and He didn't actually have to be on camera, because a Zoom meeting is a meeting through the internet for those that don't know. And but let's be honest, most people do.
I was going to say, who doesn't know?
No, that's right. And so he had to attend this meeting. It was procedural, and he did not need to be on camera, sat there nodding away. He just had to hear it. And the great thing about Zoom is that it's very clear on the system that you're on the call, but it's just that there's no camera. So he had his headphones on, and he went shopping. And he went to a charity shop, bought some outfits, went to Tesco's, all whilst listening into the meeting. I mean, that's multitasking.
On the go.
You couldn't have done that before the pandemic.
No, you couldn't. But what we've learned is that a lot of things have become, like meetings and emails. It could have just been a quick phone call or a text.
Yeah.
We've learned that you know what I mean? Like, we're reducing stuff now. And now I think a good, if obviously I run a company and, I balance everything, I think a good, healthy Monday to Wednesday is a good thing, or Monday to Thursday, but we don't need to work a full 5-day week.
But
I don't think we need to. We can fit stuff in.
You remind me something that a positive is actually with a Zoom call. So now, if I'm having a chemistry meeting with a client, I will do it on Zoom. But before you pick up the telephone, how are you? But actually, no. I want to see you. I want to see your body language. I want to see your interaction.
I like the phone. I'm old-fashioned. I like talking on the phone, and I actually don't like the fact that everybody wants to be on Zoom now.
Oh, really?
I will make up things like, my camera's not working. So
oh, really?
I can have a phone call,
Oh, wow, no. I like interaction. Yeah.
Well, lots of emails coming in relation to Mrs. Dolan's burgeoning hairdressing business. This from Jason, who says, Mark, your wife's done a good job on your hair. And Pat says, Mark, your wife should have gone to Specsavers.
Oh, that's naughty.
That's so bad.
How could you?
Harsh but fair. Harsh but fair. Lots more to come. We're going to play another great British game show. Really excited about this one. It's about male style. So your emails as well next. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debates, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr.
On radio, they call it the drive time slot, 4 p.m. until 6 p.m. as listeners head home. It's that part of the schedule when the dust of the day's events begin to clarify, and we try to make sense of it for you. Brazier is drive time for radio and TV. It's fast, it's punchy, it's opinionated, there's a Brazier angle and a little bit of levity.
That's the question. That's two questions, actually.
That's Brazier, Monday to Thursday, 4 till 6 on GB News.
Hello, I'm Patrick Christie's.
And I'm Mercy Moroki.
Make sure that you join us Monday to Thursday, 10 a.m. until midday, right here on GB News for To The Point.
We're not afraid to talk about the topics that matter to you, or the big topics that always matter.
We cover absolutely everything, from the breaking political stories of the day to law and order, what's going on in the channel. We're not afraid to hold people to account.
We always make sure we include your views on our show.
Indeed, if you're thinking it, you can guarantee that we're saying it. So make sure you join the conversation with us, 10 a.m. until midday, Monday to Thursday, for To The Point on GB News.
I'm Dan Wootton. Join me Monday to Thursday from 9 to 11 for the feistiest and most fun news debate on TV, where free speech reigns. I'll bring you a sharp take on the day's biggest stories, bombshell newsmaker interviews, and A-list guests. And I guarantee you, no spin, no bias, no censorship, and no reason to go to bed. That's Dan Wootton tonight, Monday to Thursdays from 9 on GB News.
It's been such a busy show. Thank you so much for your company. We've been discussing whether Britain still loves the BBC. This from Stephen. Dear Mark, my TV licence only exists now for GB News. Haven't watched woke BBC for at least a couple of years. Don't trust them one iota since Brexit and COVID. Also on the Beeb, Mark says, hi Mark, just to remind your guest that the BBC is British, not English. This is why the other countries hate the English and want to leave the Union, as they are sick of everything being about England. Sort it out, you lot. Mark, thank you for that. And I'm a proud Brit. And GB News couldn't be more British. So brilliant. Keep the emails coming in. Briefly on Beergate, the Mail on Sunday are running allegations tomorrow, exclusive allegations that the Beergate party was pre-planned. Could Keir Starmer be under more pressure? We're going to react to that in tomorrow's show as well. But Tamsin says, Mark, it's just a case of beer karma. Oh, beer, do we get an election rerun, says Terry. Echoing there, of course, Keir Starmer's second referendum Brexit policy. Lots more to get through. There's new fashion trend surfing the internet. It seems like bloke core is on the rise. It's a make no effort style. That's right. Make no effort is the new look being sported by millennial and Gen Z men, whoever they are, on TikTok, who simply look like they have raided their dad's wardrobes. The typical look would be retro football shirt, boot-cut jeans, a rugged pair of white sneakers, and, of course, a pint of Stella as an accessory. So is this another example of Gen Z being lazy or unoriginal? Well, it's inspired tonight's Great British Game Show. That's right, we're going to play a game of Dressed in the Dark, looking at wacky male outfits from celebrities around the country and around the world. So let's have a look. Can you at home and my panel guess the identity of these male celebrities from their shoddy outfits? That's right, we're going to play Dressed in the Dark, and here's your first celebrity that dressed in the dark. Who could this be?
Elton John.
Yes, Elton.
Let's have a look. Is it Elton John? It is indeed.
There we go.
Looking pretty in pink.
Yeah.
OK, next up, we've got a man who knows how to put his pedal to the metal.
Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, what do we think of that outfit, Precious?
He's fabulous.
Yeah, oh, divided.
He's hiding.
No, he looks great.
Precious
Come
loves
on,
it.
Stop it.
He's hiding.
He looks great.
He looks like he's walked through a load of paint.
I think he's just
is a statement.
No, what he's done is he's just replastered his front room.
Yes.
No, actually, it's his dofted being GB News. He's using your colours.
It's very true. He is a patriotic boy. OK, our next celebrity. Who could this be? Another celeb in pink.
I want to say Leonardo DiCaprio, but I don't know.
Daniel Craig?
It is Daniel Craig. Well done, Hillary.
Daniel Craig, yeah.
Wow. I love that. It divided opinion, but it works for me.
Wow.
How about our next celebrity, a famous singer?
Oh, I don't know.
Famous for frilly blouses.
Frilly blouses.
Yeah, so he's playing very much with
Oh my God,
stereotypes.
I know who it is, but his name is gone.
He was part of a boy band who broke America.
Harry Styles.
It is Harry Styles,
Yeah.
and he's got style himself.
He does have great.
How about your next celebrité? Dressed in the dark. Who could this be?
Beckham.
No.
It is Beckham.
Is it
well
Beckham?
done.
Oh.
Get in, son!
How did you get that?
Get in,
That
son!
is the oldest picture I've ever seen of him.
That was good work.
My goodness.
He hasn't even got his...
That was.
I don't mind the snakeskin jacket, but I'm not sure about those glasses.
No,
That's
a
another
very old picture.
That's another should have gone to Specsavers. OK, how about our next celebrity?
We go all silent.
Now let me tell you that he is in the GB News studios. So it is somebody that appears on the channel regularly. It's a former politician.
Nigel.
Portillo.
It is Michael Portillo. Famous for his very natty outfits. He likes mustard, he likes pink.
Coordination. It's fabulous.
A very, very elegant and stylish man. Michael will be back on GB News very shortly. The other day he wore a green shirt, green tie and green jacket. He looked like a proper Irishman. OK, here's your next celebrity.
Kanye West.
Yeah, Kanye, yeah.
Let's have a look. Is it Kanye?
Yeah.
Style icon Kanye, who's a fashion designer as well. There's someone else that's been doing a bit of painting and decorating during lockdown.
Louis borrowed his outfit.
And last but not least, a famous American comedian and film star.
It's Adam Sandler.
Let's take a look. Is it Adam Sandler?
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely dressed in the dark.
Yeah.
Not happening. Well, my panel have had colossal style and they've had plenty of opinions as well. Thank you so much to the wonderful Precious Muir, Chris Akabusi, and Hilary Freeman. It's been such a brilliant night, such a busy 2 hours. We couldn't have done it without you, so thank you so much for your company. Thanks for so many emails as well. They've been flooding in thick and fast. Currygate, Starmer, you're all not happy. Instant Korma, says Steve. Captain Scarlett says, Mark, I hate the BBC and refuse to pay the licence fee. Look, we've sparked many debates. We'll do exactly the same tomorrow. So stick around for headliners. I'm doing that, and I'll see you tomorrow at 9 as well.
Looking ahead to tomorrow's weather, and the UK is looking mostly dry and bright, but some rain will move into the far northwest of Scotland. Let's take a look at the details. In the southwest of England, we may see a few mist patches around first thing, but these will quickly clear, leaving a dry start with some sunny spells. The southeast will also see a dry and bright start to the day, but it will be chilly first thing with temperatures between 8 to 10 Celsius. Coastal areas of Wales may see some low cloud and fog around during the morning, but elsewhere we'll see some sunshine from the word go. The dry and bright theme will continue as we move into the Midlands and the northwest of England. Any mist will quickly clear with temperatures around 10 Celsius to start the day. Hopping over the Pennines, and we will probably see the best of the sunshine across the northeast of England. It will be chilly though, although coastal areas will have lost the northeasterly breeze. Up into Scotland, and for many it will be dry with some spells of sunshine. However, it will be cloudier towards the Western Isles with some rain around first thing. Across to Northern Ireland, and after a fresh start, we will see plenty of sunshine across the country, but it may turn cloudier during the morning in the west. Moving towards lunchtime, and we'll see little change with many places seeing plenty of sunny spells and feeling a little warmer. And that's how the weather's shaping up tomorrow morning.
Hello, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and you can join me every weekday 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr. Me and my panel will get stuck right into the day's events, and I can tell you, in fact, I can warn you, expect some robust debate, some strong opinions and perspectives from both sides of the fence. It's about you at home as well. I love to read out all of your comments, or at least as many as I can. So join me, Michelle Dewberry, Monday to Friday, 6 till 7 on Jubes and Kerr.
On radio, they call it the